Wow, what an amazing view. I'm just here by the cliff, and from other side it's sea. And you are like in the middle of the paradise. This is how I felt. Where should I go? This is interesting, and this is interesting. And then I go out, I see 20 horses just hanging out between mountains and the sea. You're living in paradise. It's your office.
Yes, it is. Yeah, and actually we have 48 horses.
Wow.
So there's quite a lot of them. Space around there. And I felt the same way when I first came here. I thought it was paradise. You have the mountain, like you said, the sea. And there's actually an ancient site up there, which is why we have a bit of a theme going on. You can see the pillars.
No way.
Yeah, that's what's going on there.
First time you came here, this is where I want to stop. You came to Cyprus from New York, so you're actually New Yorker.
I was a child, yeah, but I was a child when I first came to Cyprus. And I'd been involved with horses since I was 4. So I've been riding since I was 4 years old.
Wow.
And when I came here, I rode in various places. I wasn't in Limassol, so I didn't really know about this place then, though I believe it did exist. And then I moved to the UK, and more recently, about 6 months ago, I decided it was time to go somewhere sunnier.
So you couldn't live without Cyprus?
No, yeah, I really loved it, and I decided to come back, so that's how I'm here.
But wait, New York and Limassol, it's when someone says I'm from United States, it's still this feeling, you know, that's, oh, you came from so far away. How did you end up here? So can you describe in a bit why Cyprus exactly? How it's connected with you? This.
So I was born in New York, but my parents are both Greek, and at some point they decided that they wanted to be closer to my extended family. And my dad found a job in Cyprus, and that's how we ended up in Cyprus, because the extended family are in Greece, and it's a short distance by plane.
And you were quite happy about that.
I, at the time, was not that happy about it. I believe I made a deal that the only way I would move, and this was as a child, was if I got a dog and a brother.
Yeah.
I got both, so.
In the same time?
Yeah, you might meet my brother later. Yeah.
And then plus 48 horses came.
Well, that was much later, yes.
Okay. But why horse riding? How did you end up doing
equestrianism.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So as a child, I believe, because in New York you don't see horses all the time, right? You're in a city. I was in Brooklyn, so it's
only on TV.
Yeah, exactly, and that's exactly how I came across them for the first time. It was
Indiana Jones.
No, though I'm sure I saw Indiana Jones as well. I think I watched like Black Beauty, maybe.
You know, something more romantic.
Like, yeah, exactly. And I fell in love with horses, and I think I started begging for riding lessons.
Okay, and that was 4 or 5 years?
I was 4 years old, I believe. Yeah, that's what I'm told. I don't remember that. I was very young.
And then parents say don't show TV too much to the kids.
Yeah, well,
look how good
they accepted it.
Sometimes.
Yeah. They accepted it. They took me for lessons, and the rest is history.
And then you started to train. It took a couple of years. You fell in love even more. You started to compete, or
actually, it's a bit of a convoluted story. It's not so straightforward. So I started riding at 4, but my parents are from the academic world. So I actually had a career path planned out where I was going to be a scientist and do research and all this stuff. And after I lived in Cyprus for a little while as a child, I moved to the UK and I went to university there. And I have a lot of degrees. And I have a PhD in animal behavior.
Wow.
So while I was doing my PhD, I started to work with horses professionally. That was now nearly 10 years ago. And that's how it started. So in between, I was riding consistently. I did a bit of competition, dressage, a little bit of show jumping, but I wasn't that into that. I was more interested in dressage. And then eventually ended up with the professional world more on the side of the training and behavioral consultation and problem solving.
Wow, I started to feel science when you started to speak about this so detailed.
Yeah, so it's a different...
Wow. Tell me about this part. You started to tell me about the different sports that horse riding involves. It's a lot of different ways how you can express yourself doing horseback riding, as Americans say.
Right. So horseback riding or equestrianism, it's a bit like saying playing ball or water sports. It's really anything that involves riding a horse. And there are literally hundreds of different disciplines that you can do involving horses.
Hundreds?
Yes, hundreds. Most people have only really heard, especially in Europe, they've only really heard of the big 3, which are the Olympic sports.
Yes.
And that's dressage, show jumping, and eventing. So
difference between them immediately.
Yeah. So show jumping is probably the most recognizable. It's the one where the horses jump over obstacles, and it's a timed event. It's about accuracy and turns and getting over the obstacles cleanly. Then we have dressage. Dressage is the one that people sometimes refer to as dancing with horses. And it's kind of like, I like to say sometimes that it's a bit like, it's the basis for everything else, and it comes out of military riding, but the idea of it is that it teaches the horse, it's about training the horse, how best to carry the rider. So at the lower levels, it is the basis for everything else. At the higher levels, it's like, if you like poetry, it's like, it's going from learning the alphabet and understanding the basics of how to write to learning to be an actual poet and write stuff that's
you
beautiful.
said it so nicely.
I mean, I'm very passionate about dressage, so that's where that comes from.
I understood. So this
And
is your favorite one.
Yeah, this is what I specialize in, specifically classical dressage. And then there's the third discipline in the Olympic Games, which is eventing. And eventing is like the triathlon for horses. So it's dressage, jumping at a slightly lower level, both of them, and then cross country, which is this very exciting, kind of dangerous phase where you
The
jump.
extreme part of the horse ride.
Exactly, which is jumping over obstacles at speed over rough terrain. So out cross
So
country.
you'll show us today. Huh?
No cross country. So we do show jumping and dressage here.
Show jumping and dressage.
And dressage.
This is the most popular and most demanded in Cyprus.
So show jumping is probably the most popular in Cyprus. When I came here hoping that I could make dressage more popular and start to push that a little bit more around this area because there isn't that much of it. So we have a mixture of both.
Why do you think it's not popular in Cyprus?
Dressage?
Yes.
I think it's because when you start out riding, dressage looks quite boring. You don't understand exactly what's going on. It's very technical. And you need to start to advance in your riding before you realize what the point is.
It looks boring, but it's not, right?
Yes, it's not.
Why
if you
it's not
understand
boring?
it's not. Because once you understand it and you understand the complexity of what you're doing, you start to appreciate just how difficult
Dance
it
with
is.
the horse.
Yeah, and it's all about isolating specific body parts, having complete control of your body, knowing exactly how to move, how you influence your horse. The
We can
little
say being
details.
one with the horse.
Yeah, that's a good
You see,
way
I'm a
of
bit
saying
poet
it.
as well.
Yeah. You should try dressage.
Well, who knows? After a talk, I'm already like passionate. I get this feeling, as soon as you get into this world, which you're not used to, and you speak with passionate people like you in your sport, you get these goosebumps, and you want, okay, I want to try. But okay, tell me one important thing. So Cyprus is the place. Actually, we can find a lot of horse riding. How you would call the place? Horse ride centers or
Yes, this is called an equestrian centre.
Okay, so but you know what? I think that I'm not the only one who doesn't know this word. So
Equestrian, yeah, that's
I think
quite
most people are
lively.
googling horse riding center or horse riding classes, something like that.
If you were to Google horse riding in Limassol, for example, you would find this place for sure.
Yeah, I actually saw quite some of them.
There's quite a few now.
Yeah. That's what made me happy. I actually
Yeah.
understand that this is something that is expanding and getting more popular.
there's
Let's
a
say.
lot now.
How do you divide them? Which one is good and which one is not? So I'm let's say tomorrow after talking with you, I fell in love with dressage, and I'm saying she said that it's unpopular. I can do it, and I'm come on doing it. So you're not laughing, so you're thinking that I'm serious. Why not, right?
Sure, yeah.
So I start to Google the place, and what should I see? Or how should I divide which is good place or which is not? I'm a rookie, for example. I'm a beginner.
I'll tell you, it's a little bit challenging to do so from the internet because most places in Cyprus do not have very good websites. That's the truth. So if you're looking to find somewhere, my best suggestion would be go there and try it out. Because places in Cyprus are close together. It's easy to go to more than one place and see what it's like. And meet the coaches, see what they're like, see who you click with. And that's it, really.
So clicking with a coach,
I think
finding
that's
a common thing, you're like feeling good working with a coach, but maybe there is a good coach, but the place, like horses, for example, are not good. Is this something you should keep in mind?
Yes.
What else? Like a nice place or a lot of place to horse ride. How you can understand if the coach is fantastic, but there is only one horse and it's very tired, let's say.
Well, yeah, of course, that's
I don't know how to
factor.
explain that.
So for me, something that's very important with horse riding is safety. So especially when you're starting out, you need it to be safe. You don't want to be on a horse that's going to take off with you or do anything you don't expect or where you feel like you might fall off and injure yourself. I mean, Falling off is part of horse riding. It happens
Part
sometimes.
of any sport.
Exactly, part of any sport. It might happen sometimes, but it shouldn't feel like you're going to get seriously injured or that it's likely to happen at the beginning, because it shouldn't. Your first few lessons should be safe. You should feel like, you know, the horses are relaxed and that the environment is going to be a safe one for you to ride in. You should have spaces that are clear, that you can, you know, that you can do the sport in safely. That's definitely number one. You need the safety.
Okay.
And I think that is a big element, actually, because, you know, horses, they're very big animals. Some of them are half a ton. So
if you're not riding a pony, though.
Yes, if you're not riding a pony. But even ponies are really strong. If you end up on the end of the lead rope and they pull you, oh yeah, they're very, very strong animals. So we start.
Let's clarify.
It's age to start children.
Yes.
So we start them here at 4.
So it
we
is
accept
4.
children at 4, yes, not 2.
Okay.
4. But it's very much controlled. It's on a small pony, we'll be holding them. It's very controlled. Older children, more like 6 years old, that's the point where they start to really understand and they can really ride.
So, but for those mothers and fathers who are afraid to children saw Indiana Jones or the Black Beauty.
Yes, Black Beauty.
Black Beauty, you see, good memory. And children saying, I want to go horse riding, and they're saying, no, this is too extreme. You go play chess or something like that. Why you think it's okay, and why you think it's even good for children to start at such early age?
So horse riding.
Hello.
Yes.
All right.
Horse riding is a really good way to learn coordination as a young child. So if you start them at 4, they don't understand necessarily all the details of what they're doing, but they learn balance, they learn coordination, they get physically stronger, all that stuff. And it is safe because we're not putting them on a crazy horse. It's a controlled situation, small.
Everything is started safe and steady,
exactly, with
step by
protective
step.
equipment and everything as you'd expect. Once they get a little bit older, I think it's amazing for teaching them respect for animals, to appreciate nature, to also confidence, because if you're a child and you can have control over an animal that's so large, it really changes how you feel about the world. If like children are getting bullied in school or something like that, it's an entirely different thing if you spend your afternoons riding a half-ton animal, right? Suddenly those bullies don't really seem like that big a deal. And equally for adults, I think. A lot of adults, maybe less active adults, but also more active, they can get a lot from horse riding. It's an entirely different way of using your body. You have to learn to have independence in your body and to be able to use different muscle groups on their own while keeping the rest relaxed. I'm always saying in lessons, like the real key to horse riding is to be able to relax your body, even in intense situations where maybe you're starting to get a little bit nervous or you're not sure about what you're going to do. Say if you're asking for a transition or something, we'll do more about that later when you ride.
Yeah, but this is actually a good thing. If someone is not active at all, can they enjoy this?
Absolutely.
Just coming and trying it out first time in their life?
Yeah, we get a lot of people, even older people, who come and they sit on a horse for the first time and they learn how to do it. Like they learn the rising trot, which you're going to hopefully learn later yourself. It's something anyone can try to do. And enjoy.
And how about the professionals who are coming to Cyprus? This is actually a general question about Cyprus. You've been traveling, you've seen different places. Why do you think Cyprus is an amazing place to come and have a horseback riding training or adventure or something?
Well, it's certainly, depending on where you've been before, Cyprus offers incredible weather. That's like obviously a huge deal. For me especially, having come from London a few months ago, it's you go from mud and rain every day to this beautiful sunshine and everything's dry, the horses are clean already, everything. It makes a big difference, it makes a big difference. And I mean, also you're just by the sea here, you can have a ride, then go and have a swim. Go down the road and there's nice restaurants.
Swim together with a horse.
That's illegal actually in Cyprus as far as I know.
You can tell anyone.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's just a really nice environment to be in.
You
Very
can,
laid back
have
as well.
horse riding in the mountains. You
Yeah.
can have a horse riding near the beach.
You can do both on the same day.
Exactly.
It's half an hour.
People owns horses
Yes,
and
yeah.
they're actually keeping them here at the stall.
They can board them
So
here.
it's something like a community of
Yeah,
horse
absolutely.
riding.
So there's horses here that are boarding, which are they pay to keep their horse here. There's people who kind of rent their horses, called loaning, and then there's people who come to ride for lessons. So there's 3 different groups, and everybody kind of intermingles. It's a bit of a community feel.
Amazing.
It's,
And by the way, you mentioned payments. I thought many people might think that this is, sometimes someone have watched horse riding sports, and this is a bit like expensive sports or glamorous sports like
Yeah.
golf. People think about the tennis and
yeah, absolutely.
golf.
Everyone thinks that we're
Everyone
all
thinks,
rich.
oh my God, no, this is too expensive. When
Yeah.
you're gonna go there, and
Yeah.
is it expensive?
No, it's not. It's completely affordable. A lot of people come here who are just your average person, and they do a few lessons, sometimes maybe 2 a week or maybe once a week, and it's not a big deal. You can definitely do it. Any average person.
You don't
can
need
afford
to
do
own
it.
your own horse.
No, you don't.
You
No.
have horses.
Yeah.
You can just
Yeah,
pay.
but even owning a horse is not necessarily a very expensive thing.
So it's affordable sport, safe,
Yeah.
and for everyone.
Exactly.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, everyone should do it.
Horse riding competitions in Cyprus, is there any?
There are a few. It's not the biggest sport in Cyprus, but there are a few competitions held in various different centres around the island. We've also taken part in a few online competitions.
Online
Yeah,
competitions?
especially now that we've had social isolation and all that. We've done some online competitions with. They're held in various different parts of the world, and they have proper judges, and you film your.
Oh wow, this
Yeah.
is something new. This is like
Yeah.
21st century. Tell
Yeah.
me more. So this is a competition held by some organizers.
Yeah.
Somewhere abroad, let's say in
Could be
United
anywhere.
States.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know that about that because you're in some community of horse riding sport.
Yeah.
And they are advertising this as a you can attend.
Yeah.
You just have to send your video.
Yeah, so there's a small entry fee, like very cheap, like a few euros, and
Okay,
Dogs.
they want to be a star.
and they let you send in your videos, and then proper judges have a look, and they assess the test, because this would be in dressage that I'm talking about.
Wow.
So there's a test, and you do it, and then
So now we have a community
Yeah,
around
now
us.
we have a dog.
Everyone is interested in the results online competitions.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. That's so good. I haven't heard that about any other sport yet. So this is
I suppose it's difficult to do for a lot of sports. With dressage, you can do it because it's based on scoring specific movements. So you can. but
Can't you Photoshop your
No, you can't really. Also,
jumping half a
most
meter and
equestrians
just
are not-
increasing the height?
When in dressage, there's no jumping. So
Okay.
yeah, in show
I'll
jumping,
let
I
you
can
talk
see how they're.
because I
Yeah.
All right, thanks a lot for the talk. I really hope that this interview will bring more people to this sport. That's
I hope so,
amazing.
yeah.
I couldn't even imagine that you can do so many things with horse riding.